Stop clothing Obi in a borrowed robe. He is not a saint. It is very ridiculous and very unfortunate the level the supporters of Mr. Peter Obi have taken his ambition of becoming Nigeria president. From cyberbullying to personality attack, unbridled religious bigotry to crude ethnic sentiments. Which makes one wonder whether it's Igbo or Christian president alone that Mr. Obi is aspiring to be. This is a man who has a penchant for telling bare-faced lies and will stop at nothing to portray himself as a saint. I recall during the vice presidential debate in 2019 how he was dishing out data and figures which when fact-checked turned out to be outright lies, just like he claimed at a public lecture in Lagos that he wore one wristwatch for 13 years only for the media to publish photographs of him wearing several watches in 1 year. His claim of leaving the office without any debt also turned out to be another falsehood. As a check of the debt management office website as of December 31, 2013 revealed that Anambra under him was owing 3 billion naira domestic debt and external debt of $30.3 million. Total debt of 7.5 billion in naira. Although his successor Mr. Obiano claimed he inherited 127 billion naira, his claim of providing efficient and improved electricity supply during his tenure only exists on pages of newspapers. As a neoliberal advocate, he played a major role in the failed privatization of the power sector. As an active member of the National Economic Council Committee on Power Sector Reform. Mr. Obi, just like any other bourgeois and opportunist political office holder, used public position to enhance his personal business interest and that of his close associates at the expense of the masses. For example, how does buying 1,000 vehicles at once at a whopping amount of 4 billion naira become an achievement in a state like Anambra that is in dire need of basic infrastructure, only for the vehicles to be distributed to his cronies. In his bid to run away from proper funding for education, he returned 1040 public schools to their previous owners without building any public schools throughout his 8 years tenure, only to dash these proprietors whopping 4 billion naira of public funds and continue to fund them throughout his tenure without building one public school or hospital. He practically privatized most of the existing public schools. When I see some youths jumping up and down for Obi, I just pity them. Maybe because they have a concise memory and are not students of history. This was a man as governor of Anambra that vehemently resisted paying 18,000 minimum wage, only for him to increase the school fees of the state university from 36,000 to between 86,000 to 120,000. His refusal to implement minimum wage then led to the shutdown of public hospitals for 13 months in 2011. His response to the demand of workers then was a threat of no work and no pay. Eventually, when he was forced to pay after strike action, he vindictively sacked a number of workers. Most of his so-called achievements are nothing but misplaced priorities. Throwing money at projects without proper conceptualization and impact analysis, most of which turned out to be projections of personal vested interest at the expense of the masses. No wonder they ended up not being sustainable. In a classic case of abuse of office and using his public position to advance personal interests, he invested $30 billion of Anambra fund in a brewery owned by his family.